Salt Lake City. Hey, Jake, how are you? Salt Lake Jake. Salt Lake Jake.
Salt Lake Jake.
Welcome to Salt Lake Jake's Take. I am Salt Lake Jake. Gentlemen, we have had our bye week. We ended prior to the bye week on a high, absolutely kicking the crap out of West Virginia. Country roads, take me home, baby. Took me home. Back to optimism is what it took me home to. So we are back. We are back to being optimistic. We've had a week to recuperate, get some of our injuries healed up. The good news is Witt said there's not any season-ending injuries from the last game, which if you look at Nate Ritchie, you got to wonder how. But anyway, long story short, we're good. We're getting healthy, healing up Devin Dampier's ankle a bit. I'm with my guys, Pete and Brennan. How are we, fellas?
Doing good. Great, Jake. How was your bye week?
You know what? It was stress-free. It was reinvigorating. I communed with the Lord all weekend long, and I'm back, baby. I'm back. I'm ready to go. Brennan, how are you?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy there's football this week, and we have a night game, and as announced today, a drone show at halftime.
Ooh, that's
sir. How caveat? It says weather permitting. Now, I don't know if you all looked at the weather forecast, but it's looking like it's gonna be a little bit wet. You know, Devin Dampier may take on a new meaning. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 ching. Let's go.
Cold and hazy.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a little bit of a rough game. Sounds like. I mean, I hope it's not a downpour. I can deal with the drizzle. Throw on a poncho. I'm fine. But if it's downpour like it was last Saturday or Friday, whatever day that was this last week, where the whole state got drenched, then we got problems. But you know what? I don't care. I'm looking forward to it. We're 4-1. We got a huge tilt coming up with the defending Big 12 champion Arizona State Wildcats. And actually, let's talk about that just real quick. One thing I find quite comical is all we hear is, oh, Utah couldn't adjust to the Big 12. That's why Utah is struggling. No, idiots. We're struggling because we had a freaking quarterback couldn't stay healthy more than 5 seconds, and look no further than the fact that perennial bottom dweller Arizona State wins the league in their first year in the league. So I don't want to hear a single thing about how we're struggling because of the toughness of the Big 12. We had one of our worst teams come in and win the league year one, and they are rolling into Rice Cycles, night game. And how you guys feeling about it? Are you nervous about it?
Yeah, I think they're a really gritty team, and I really like their coach, Kenny Dillingham. I mean, he's just got that great moxie. He says great things in his press conferences. They have gutsy wins over Baylor and TCU on the road at the last second. So I'm actually a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous too. I mean, this is a huge game. If we drop this game, it feels like we're going to fall back to where we were last year.
Oh, dudes, this game matters ridiculously, yes. Because if we do lose it, you can kiss goodbye any outside chance we have left of a Big 12 championship for sure. We can't start 1-2 in the Big 12, and especially as many teams are undefeated, expect to go anywhere. So yes, this game matters in the worst way possible, and it's really an interesting game because it gives us a chance to really see where we're at. Because as we know, we're 4-1. We looked amazing against UCLA. Turns out UCLA sucks. We looked great against Cal Poly, whatever, it's Cal Poly. Wyoming, we struggled for a quarter or so, and we couldn't put the ball in the end zone, but we ended up having a decent game. And then we played Texas Tech, who's a top 10 team, and scoreboard says we got our butt kicked, but we all know with 8 minutes left, it was a 13-10 game. But still, we didn't look good all game long, that offense. And then the thing is, it was great is we recovered the next week, went on the road 2 time zones away against a bad team and handled our business. So the question is, who are we really? And I think we will get a lot from this weekend's game to determine just exactly who Utah football is for the rest of the year. Because while Arizona State is the defending Big 12 champs, I don't think they're as good as they were last year. They still have Sam Levitt, yes, who's a dynamic big-time game-breaking quarterback. He can break out the pocket, pick up 40 yards, no problem. So they got a great quarterback. However, in my opinion, the heart and soul of that Arizona State team was Cam Scatabo. And he's the one that, in my opinion, literally carried them to the Big 12 championship. You look at the Big 12 championship game, he was an absolute freaking nature in that game. bowling ball, couldn't be brought down. I don't remember his stats, but I think he is 200 yards or more and several touchdowns. The dude was a menace, and he's no longer there. So I think Arizona State's not nearly as dynamic as they were last year, but I do love their coach. Like you said, one thing that darn Kenny Dillingham does is he just flatters us so much, doesn't he? He just talks about how Utah's the program. It's not just wit. It's not a team. It's a program. He wants to be like us. He's so real too in his comments. He's just like, you can't help but like the guy, which sucks because I've always hated Arizona State. But he's a good coach. But like I said, I don't think that it is the same Arizona State team as the last year. So why does it give us? That's why it gives us a great test, because it's still a good team, still contending for the Big 12 title game, but they're not as good as they were. They went to Baylor on the road, yes, but it was a 1-score game. They beat gosh dang it, who's the other team they beat in the Big 12?
TCU.
TCU, but there's another 1-score game, and that was actually a game at home. So I think they're a good team and will really test us, but they're not great. So I think if we come in and we can maybe impose our will specifically on the lines, I think we can get away with a win here. And look, this is almost like the ultimate barometer game, in my opinion. If we win this, we're a really good team. If we lose this, then we're probably not a good team, and it's going to be a struggle. And it really will depend on this game. However, if we do win this game, I don't think it's a shoo-in that we're the best team. I just think we'll beat a really good team at home, and it should give us enough momentum to where the rest of the season, every game matters, and every game will be a good game. That's my opinion. If we can go down this, go ahead and get a win, then I think it sets up nicely for the rest of the year. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, let me just say really quick about last year. I mean, we lost that game 19-27. It was Cam Rising's last game. He went 16 for 37 and threw 3 interceptions.
He was not right.
He was not right. It was terrible. It was sad to watch him in that game. And Scadaboo just ran all over us, had 2 touchdowns, 22 carries. Yep. So we're not facing that same team this year, which is the positive, but still, Sam Levitt, he's another year older. He's a good QB. It's going to be scary. I'm scared.
Right, we should be. We should be anxious for this game, and for a good reason, though. I'm not scared of them like I was scared of Oregon or scared of the Washington with the year with Penix. They're not that good. I'm scared, maybe anxious, because I want to see how we come out and play. Last year, we cannot judge Brother Rising based on that game. He was just coming off his finger injury his first game back, and the second play in, he breaks his freaking ankle. I can't believe that happened to that poor guy. And so he was just not right in that game. It was the swan song, his last game. I hate that it ended that way because he's a 2-time Pac-12 champ, and that's how I always remember him. But yeah, we're neck and neck with Arizona State, except that Cam Scadaboo broke off 2 long touchdown runs, and that was the difference in the game. So I don't think they have that. I don't think they have that game-breaking ability this year, with the exception of their wide receiver Jordan Tyson is a bona fide NFL stud. Like, that's what worries me, is him abusing our cornerbacks. But I think our offense is better than it was last year, simply because we sucked last year. And so just the fact that we have warm body at quarterback tells us our offense is better. So I think we can move the ball up to score and beat these guys. The spread right now is actually 6.5 in favor of Utah. It opened 5.5 and it's moved another point towards Utah. So I think we can come out. I think it's going to be, if throw in the caveat, if it's like the downpour, that changes everything. But if it's a decent weather game, I think we can control the line of scrimmage. I would love to feed Wayshawn Parker twice as much as we are, giving the ball more, but I think we can come out and we can get a 31-21 victory.
Yeah, Jake, to that point, who needs to have a great game for the Utes?
You know what? I think we need to have a great game from our 2 NFL tackles, Caleb Lomu and Spencer Fano. We've got to control the line of scrimmage on offense and run and chew up clock, just like we do. That's what we do. We have long extended drives. If they can control the line and we can have multiple 12 to 15 play drives. I look at perfect example was West Virginia game last game. We got the ball on the 3-yard line with 4.5 minutes to go. 3-yard line, and we marched 97 yards, picking up first down after first down because we're in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. And it extended the drives, and we scored a touchdown with Dallin Bentley to go 28-0 at halftime. If we can stay out of 3rd and 6 or longer, then we can win. We will win that game. It all comes down to, though, the lines. If we can get it in 3rd and short, then we can just pick up, chew clock, chew yards, keep Sam Levitt off the field, keep our defense off the field, and I think we can pull it off. Listen, Rice Eccles Stadium is known as a tough place to play. The stats don't bear that out right now because we've lost our last 5 Big 12 games, but I still think it's going to be loud. I think it's going to be a buzzsaw. Remember, throw an asterisk on that record, though, because 4 of those games we had Isaac freaking Wilson playing quarterback. So anyway, I think if our offensive line control the line of scrimmage, have big games from Fano and Lomu, and then on defense, Mayor of Sac Lake City, JHD, contain Sam Levitt. We don't have to sack him a bunch of times, but we can't let him out of the pocket for big. If it's 3rd and 12, we pick up 15 yards. Those are brag breakers. Those are killers. So if our tackles and our ends on the lines have a good game, we win.
You brought up the losing streak. Interesting moment in Kyle Whittingham's press conference. He said he didn't know. They asked him about the winless against the Big 12 at home, and he said that was the first time he had even heard of that. What do you make of that? Is that anything?
Well, initially, if you'd asked me this 3 years ago, I would have said he was just playing and trolling. But the way he said it, I genuinely believe that he didn't know. I think he'd maybe focus on a bunch of other things. I think also at his old age, maybe he's slipping in some areas. But honestly, I feel like he didn't know, truthfully. But I want to give a caveat to that. Everyone's like, "Oh, Utah sucks the Big 12 at home." No, dude, we had a freaking cardboard cutout at quarterback for 4 of those games, and then the other game was a top 10 Texas Tech team that, like I said, was 13-10 with 8 minutes left. So I don't want to hear anything about that stupid streak. Screw that streak. Screw BYU fans for making it a thing. Everything's stupid about them. I hate their guts.
Anything. Well, and in fairness, we beat Baylor at home last year. However, it was a non-conference game or whatever. So
it was, and we had Cam Rising for half of that game. That's why. Then that was the game he hurt himself. But yeah, man, I don't make anything of it. If we can't win this game and then lose to Cincinnati and that extends to 7, then it's time to panic. But not a big deal. Let's get this win. Let's get back on track. Let's be 5-1 going into the nightmare of all nightmare weeks, rivalry week. But we'll worry about that next week.
So tell me a little bit about how the rain's going to affect both teams. How do you think that's going to play out?
I think it would actually. Here's the thing: people are like, "Oh, how's the rain affect it?" It really has to be really wet. Damp games don't really matter that much because you still have your decent footing and decent grip on the ball. But if it gets really wet, I think that affects Arizona State more because they throw the ball more. And Sam Levitt's more of a downfield passer than we are. We're short, intermediate routes. We are run the ball, control line of scrimmage. So it doesn't affect us as much as it affects Arizona State. In my non-expert, humble opinion, and I want to remind everybody. This podcast is just dudes being dudes talking about sports like you do at the office. This is not a breakdown statistical genius podcast. We're just dudes hanging out at the water cooler talking sports. All right. And that's my opinion. So deal with it.
I did hear Nick Saban say, I don't know, last week on game day that it's not rain, it's wind that affects games. And so I don't know if it's supposed to be windy.
If the greatest football coach of all time says that, I'll take his advice, his opinion on that.
The other thing I heard Saban say last week, which I thought was interesting, is he said he hated having a bye week, especially after a win, because it hurt the momentum, which from my mind, I've always welcomed bye weeks thinking, okay, now we can rest and we can get up. Do you think that's coming off this bye week is going to hurt Utah?
I hope not, because in the fact that, if Saban says that, dude, like I said, he's 7 national titles. I believe him. But in our what's going for us is Dampier's been a little hobbled with the ankle. He hasn't been majorly injured, but you can tell he's a little hobbled. So an extra week to rest that ankle can't do anything but help,
Well, not to mention ASU's coming off a bye week as well. So it might be just kind of a moot point.
Yeah, agreed. Yep.
Okay. Any other notes on the game? Anything else you're looking forward to?
We got that drone show we talked about. It's supposed to be a readout. I don't know if they have any special throwback uniforms. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a long time since we had a high energy, exciting night game on tap. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, man.
Okay. We're hoping to have an ASU guest later in this week, but we do have a few mailbags. Are you ready for them?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right.
Hey, Jake, who do you think is going to be the next defensive coordinator?
Well, that's the cutest voice I've ever heard.
That was from Julia.
Julia, thank you so much for your your passion for Utah football and your question. I appreciate it. Who do I think is going to be like defensive coordinator? Well, I'll tell you who I want it to be, and I'll tell you who I think it's going to be. We all know Morgan Scalley is the head coach in waiting, and everyone assumes this is Kyle Whittingham's last year, which I'm ready for a change. I love Whit, grateful for what he did, but ready for some young, fresh blood with some new ideas, even if it's a guy from within the system. You know, people are like, oh, well, he's going to be just like Kyle Whittingham because he comes from. Dude, no. Do your work, do you do everything the exact same way your boss does just because you work for somebody else? No. You have your own ideas. You have your own personality. Get out of my face with that. Anyway, I think, okay, so if this is last year, Morgan Scalley, I hope against hope that it's Jay Hill from BYU. And I know that the kind of the word on the street a few years ago when he was still at Weber and when Morgan was first the head coach in waiting, he had approached Jay Hill about being his defense coordinator. He had indicated that was going to be the case. But now we know Jay Hill has gone down to the dark side and has tasted of the fruits of Ryan Smith's ill-gotten gains and his filthy lucre. And so who knows? I know this. It would be a very, very bad look for BYU if he left there to come be our defensive coordinator. So I think Ryan Smith will dig into his fraudulent, no, I'm not going to say that libel. I'm just joking. Dig into his pile of money and keep Jay Hill there because Jay Hill is an awesome coach, as evidenced by the fact that those losers down there have never had a good defense, even under Kalani Sitake, who's a former defense coordinator, and now automatically the last 2 years, their defense is legit. So Jay Hill would be my choice. That if I had the number one choice, that's who I'd choose. Who I think it's going to be, though, is Cole Swan, the linebacker coach from Utah, which he's awesome, dude. He's an awesome recruiter. Like, he's an awesome coach. I've talked to him a few times, and he's just super engaging. So I would be okay with either one. I'd be okay with Swan, but like I said, I want it to be Jay Hill.
All right. Next question.
Hi, Jake. Will you please explain the concept of a celestial Saturday, and do you think we will experience one this week?
Gosh, it has been a long freaking time since we've had a celestial Saturday. For those who are unaware, the Celestial Saturday is when Utah wins and those freaking idiots and BYU lose the same weekend. And there is nothing more glorious. I'm telling you, when you're home on a Saturday night, you just experienced a win. Their fans are hurting and are in pain. The combination of both of those emotions just spins you into this, like this being where your spirit leaves your body and floats across open prairie lands full of daffodils, daisies, and sunflowers. Like, it's the most amazing experience. But with the way the last couple of years have gone, we haven't had one. I want to say for at least, well, they only lost 2 games last year, and they lost both theirs the same weekend we lost ours. They haven't lost this year. They've cheated their way to 5-0. So it's been a couple years since we've had it. I hope against hope we have it this week, but I don't know if we will. I don't think we will. I think BYU gets the win, but their schedule increases in difficulty tenfold after next week. They got us rolling in. They go to Texas Tech. They go to Iowa State. Yeah, so things are about to get real for them. So they'll start racking up losses here for sure because I know they will because they suck. But yeah, Celestial Saturday, we win. They lose. The world has never looked brighter. It's been a while. We need one. We desperately need one.
All right. This last question is from Sam.
Jake, this is Sam. You mentioned you've seen the Utes win 30 times on the road. What was the best post-game meal celebration you experienced?
Does Sam sound like an AI voice?
Yeah, was that Sam the AI?
Possibly. I'm thinking some bots have infiltrated our site.
For sure. We're so popular. We got all kinds of bots and stuff. Let's see. Best post-game meal experience. My gosh. That I wish you had given me some time to prepare for this, Peter J. Watkins. Let me think here. It's been a long time. I mean, I've been to since dating back to the early 2000s. Best post-game meal experience. It's a tough one without doing some research. Maybe I can readdress that question next podcast, but I'll just tell you, let me do some thoughts on that and I'll readdress it. But I'll tell you what my post-game meal was this last victory again, West Virginia. We went to a little bar, I think I told you, called Beer, Bacon, and Burgers. And had these incredible, I love Brussels sprouts, man. Not many people do, but if you do Brussels sprouts right, they're incredible. They charred them perfectly with this maple bacon sauce in them. We had some pork belly bites to go along with it. and I had a burger that was a smash burger with onions and a pepper bacon jam. Dr. Pepper, wash it down, had the Oregon Penn State game in the background. It was a beautiful evening, beautiful meal, incredible experience. So that's the most recent. But Peter, put a pin in that and let me think about. I'm going to go through my games on my phone and check and see if I can think of something else because I'm sure there were some other better experiences. So yeah, don't forget to address that in the next podcast.
You got it. We'll do it. We'll follow up. Listeners can always submit a question to sljtake@gmail.com.
Even the AI takes, even the AI questions, we'll take those too.
That's all we got.
All right, fellas, we appreciate you joining us, man. We are 4 days away from being back at Rice Eccles Stadium under the lights with the drone show with our best friends with unlimited Dr. Pepper that you have to actually just get before the game because you'll never see the game if you go during to get it. And we're back. It's going to be fun to get in there. Let us go. Let us pray. Let us go get a win. If we can come out this weekend 5-1, going into the rivalry game with a lot of momentum, I will be freaking feeling so good. However, fellas, if we're 4-2 going into Provo, things are going to be awfully gloomy. This is an absolute hinge point game of the season. No question about it. Are we really as good as we hope we are? Are we? Because if we are, we should win this game, no question. Hinge point game, fulcrum point of the season, whatever you want to call it. This is absolutely massive in the biggest way. So let's freaking go out there. Let's own the line of scrimmage. Let's get that dub. Let's go 5-1. Let's go Utes. I am Salt Lake Jake, and I am out.
Jake in Salt Lake City. Hey, Jake, how are you? Salt Lake Jake. Salt Lake Jake.
Salt Lake Jake.